Hey y'all! So today I want to review some ideas for an art journal. You might want to call it your gratitude journal or a junk journal. And so I'm going to share with you some of the things I've done, and also we're going to be looking at some supplies that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. So I'm also going to be selling some collections that I put together of magazine clippings and just all kind of different things like that on eBay. So I'll share a little bit of that with you as well towards the end. So grab a cup of coffee, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. I hope you get some good ideas from it. Okay, so this is my gratitude journal, and it's literally, I give myself permission to not go by any rules. Basically, I get to just express myself any way that I want to, and also this is a great way to create a collection of inspiration, because a lot of us suffer from artist block, where we just can't get creative no matter whatever we try to do. So this can be a great resource in that way. And so, yes, just finding things that are visually pleasing. So on the front cover, I've got a combination of stickers and cut out. These are kind of like off of a cardboard box. I don't know where I got them, but I cut these out, these flowers here. And then, of course, I've mixed in some other media such as markers, and I believe these are oil pastels. So yes, just whatever pleases you, And then in the front, I've got a leaf off of our redbud tree, which my daughter loves that tree, and I wanted to preserve that because it's memories, So just like a scrapbook, a scrapbook can be very personalized as well. And then over here, I've just got some inspirational things that I wrote, and some drawings I've made, and just bright, pretty colors, and literally just playing around with portraits. And this was paint over here. I believe the portrait here is oil pastels. This is just feels like a mixture of oil pastels and some white acrylic paint for the clouds. And I've put a stamp in there, and I made it where it's kind of, a challenge to read, so that it draws you in. You have to focus on it, and it's just a Bible verse that I really like. So I've got that there, and other pages that I haven't finished yet. If you have old paintings that you never finished, or even paintings that you don't like on paper, you can tear those out, like I did with this taxi cab, and you can use those in your scrapbook as well. I love to do research on words and the etymology of words, so I just had fun with that here. And this is actually, it's not finished, but slime. If you have kids and there's leftover slime, sometimes it will dry really nice, and you can use that to create a textured picture in your book. And so it's always fun. I like to have texture in my books that I can touch and feel. But this reminded me of like a sea turtle. But I'm not done with it. And these books that I'm sharing with you all, I can't remember exactly where I got this. I think I know, but I'm going to look, and if I can find it, I will share where I got this book. I believe they have an online store, but I think I got this from a local craft fair, and it's just someone that took a variety of different papers and just bound it together. And I like that because it even the colors and the variations and the patterns of the paper can help to spark, creative ideas. So, and then on this page, and this is just to inspire you before we get into the materials, I've got some stickers here, and I love the ocean. I love, all the creatures in the ocean. I love ocean stickers. And in Fantasia, the Disney movie, they had a scene where there were whales that came up out of the ocean and went into the sky, and it was really beautiful. And so this is inspired by that. And so this is a mixture of oil pastels And the sticker here actually works on top of the oil pastels. I didn't think it would, but it did. And then I believe this is a mixture of, because oil pastels in general, they blend so well, and so I wanted to use that for all the colors in the sky. And then I believe I went on top of that with some black acrylic paint and then some white acrylic paint splatter for the stars. But just, like I was saying, I was inspired by Fantasia. So anything like that that catches your attention, that makes an imprint on your heart, definitely I would find a way to creatively express that in your book. And then I like to change it up, and I like to have just some simple, fun drawings. And if you've never tried the, let me see if I've got one here. I don't. I thought I did. I'll show you at the end if I can find it. But there's just some, they're called Jelly Roll gel pens. The white is so much fun to play with on dark paper. And there was an artist, I can't remember her name, and I'll drop all of this that I'm referencing that I can find in the description after the video. But there was an artist I found many years ago, like 10 years ago or more. And I know her first name is Mindy, but she does these really cute little whimsical drawings. And a lot of her drawings have girls in them, and she'll put the eyes really far apart like this, and it's just, and she has tutorials and everything like that. So this was inspired by her, these girls here, and I think it was probably fall. And so yes, I just documented some. Apparently I had tried a chai latte, and my note was, it's like Kirkland's in a cup. If you've ever been in a Kirkland's, it has that strong potpourri smell because of all the candles they have. So yeah, just documenting, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to mix together memories that you have. Like I picked this with my daughter, thoughts you have, inspirational Bible verses, just playing around with all of your different art media, your paints, your pastels, and reviving old artworks is fun, and just finding a creative way to use what you have, and even like the slime. So I hope that gives you some ideas, and I'll share with you some more of the really pretty papers and patterns and colors here in this notebook, and I'll share with you the online store, if they're still alive and kicking, in the description when I'm done with the video. So there's that. And you could make this too, because this is cardboard basically, and this is really easy to create. I used to have a job as a graphic design assistant, and so I would create the presentation material using the spiral bound method. And you basically just have a machine where you punch through and make the holes, and then you can purchase these, and you can either wind it in with your hand, or you can use a machine to spin it quicker. And so again, this is just cardboard and a variety of different papers. But if you're like me, you want to spend most of your time just in the creative process and just let other people get your book ready for you. So that's what I have here. And then I have some books that are only for watercolor, for example, and I have other books that I just put a variety of things in. Like for example, this one, I've got, my daughter made a picture, and I put some stamps in here, and I just did a simple little sketch, and just a variety of things. And then this is another art created with slime, dried slime, and it's always fun to feel the texture, and I think it just kind of reminded me of a dress, and I found it that way. I like to look at things and see pictures within whatever I'm looking at. A lot of times I see faces, but I saw this dried piece of slime and I thought of a dress, and if I had wanted to, I could have drawn in like a fairy and added wings or whatever. But On this page I have just some washi tape, a stamp. I thought these were gorgeous. These were some US stamps, the Forever stamps. And so I just made a little positive note. We're more than enough. And I put the date on there and some stamps, and I mixed in a little bit of colored pencil, and that was fun. And then this is just a collage of, there's a stamp on top, but also just the washi tape, and I have cut out, this is part of a tissue box here at the bottom, and then magazine cutouts, and right in the middle I have I think I made a video about this actually. I have a torn piece of one of my old paintings of the ocean, so I put that in the middle. I just glued it all together, and that's the cool thing about these kind of books that are just the really thin paper. They can hold something like that. It's going to make it sturdy if you just create a collage and glue a lot on there. It makes it thick, and then I've just put in some other drawings. So those are some ideas, and I'm going to be adding more ideas to the channel too, for art journaling. There are people who create what are called junk journals, and I have not made one yet, but I saved this pizza box and I cut the top out. I don't know if you can see there, and the side and the bottom, and so it's kind of like a big book, and you can open it up. And I'm probably way too close to the camera for this, but here's a smaller version, another pizza box that I have cut, and it just creates like a little outer shell for a book, or you can put these together and just glue them at the spine, and all different sizes, and create a junk journal like that. So I may try that at some point, but I'm kind of jumping around. That's what I like to do. So I just had a big haul from Hobby Lobby, and I wanted to share some of the things I got with you all, because I'm not going to be keeping all of this myself. I will keep some of it for myself, and I'm going to put some of it in these paper bags here, where I have just a collection of stickers and magazine cutouts and things like that I'm going to be listing on eBay for you all, if you want to grab a bag and use that for your journals. Okay, so they had a sale, and I wanted to pick up just a variety of things, because everything was on sale. So the Paper Studio here, this is from Hobby Lobby. These are literally just some 6x6, 6 inches by 6 inches sheets that you can tear out and use in your scrapbooks or art journals or whatnot. I think they have 3 pages each per design, and so these are cool. Just a little preview of that. And these are probably some that I'm going to be using for the summer season because of the colors, and they've got a lot of flowers and birds, and I think I saw some fruit and butterflies, and so these are really pretty. And then I also picked up this little card set, and with these, a while back, and I don't know who to give credit to because I don't remember who did this to start with, but you can glue an envelope in your journal, and it just creates a pocket that you can then put things in. So like, for example, I probably wouldn't put the white on white. I don't want a little bit of interesting contrast, but you can just find a page and just glue it in your journal, and then you can literally keep little receipts or tickets from a memorable event, something you went to, or just your small little art cards if you're into that. I love to do the artist trading cards, and you don't have to buy them pre-cut. You can get you a ruler and an X-Acto knife and just cut your own art trading cards. But again, there was a good sale, so I just went ahead and bought a lot, but they'll fit in here nicely. You might be a collector of others trading cards, and I do both. I make them and I collect them as well, and you can put them in here. So just something to consider, to put an envelope in your journal. But also these cards, they can serve in your journal as both visually, they can add aesthetic appeal, and help you with your whatever message you're trying to portray, or whatever memory you're trying to capture. But you can also, add your creative elements all around it here and make it where you've glued the back in as well, and then you can write a message here. And if you had two, pages facing, same thing, you could glue even pictures over here if it's a scrapbook, and then write the story that goes along with your pictures or your art, your drawings, whatever it is. So just an idea. And then alternatively, you can just see this as another, paper that you can cut up, or you can have a little heart, what do you call it, like a hole punch, and you could just punch out little hearts with this pattern or whatnot. So yeah, so there's that, and I'll probably be including some of these cards in my offerings on eBay as well, because I won't use them all, and there's no sense in me keeping all of them. I've got some stickers that I'll probably use in the fall. So it was time for me to pick up some more tape, decorative tape or washi tape, and they had a really good collection, and this was a little bit of an investment for me. I mean, it was $15, but you get a lot, you get a whole lot. So, but I thought the patterns here are really beautiful, and these can be used, like I've shared earlier in the video, just as a decorative element in your book, or they can literally hold something in, a picture or whatnot. So I thought this one was really pretty for summer, and I'll be including some of these tapes, not a whole roll, but I'll probably just take some off and put on wax paper and include that in some of these packs I'm going to have on eBay. And then I was thinking ahead for fall as well, both for myself and then just selling off the excess on eBay. It's really not about making money for me on eBay so much as just sharing. I like to share, and I'm gonna have more than I need. So there's that. And then this is also cool. These were on sale, so it was $1.50, literally half off of these. They're kind of like duct tape, but they're really pretty. So you can see it's maybe 2 inches, and so I thought that was really pretty for summer. And then I picked up the little mushroom tape for fall. So I'll be doing some crafting, some art journaling with all of this that I'm sharing with you now to give you ideas, and then I'll also be listing some stuff on eBay. Okay, so there's most of what I picked up, and I don't know if you like stamps. I like stamps, but this was a part of a collection that came with a cat and a dog stamp, and it says, "A true friends," with a plural, an S, "leaves paw prints on your heart." And I thought, okay, it's got to be altered, so it should say, "A true friend leaves paw prints." So I just took my X-Acto knife and I was able to cut off that S, and it worked, and I tested it and it works. A true friend, now it makes sense, grammatically. So yeah. Index cards. Index cards are great for art projects, and so just wanted to mention that if you haven't considered it. They're just a really simple, very, very inexpensive paper that's like cardstock. It can hold a lot, and I love to use index cards. And you don't have to worry so much about the longevity, like your paper being acid free, and the pigment concentration in your materials. If you're not making something to sell, if you're just playing around in your art journal, then you don't have to worry about that. You can go with more inexpensive materials. I also picked these up, these little books, and these were I think 40% off too. Everything from the Paper Studio was 40% off the other day at Hobby Lobby. So this one's really cool. This is just a bunch of, got some of my little hearts that I made falling out here. But it's got a lot of just, like, I like how there's these little strips, almost like washi tape. But they've got flamingos and tropical palm leaves, and you got your sea turtles and jellyfish and flip-flops and your tropical fruit and everything. These are really cool for, they're really small, so I'd probably put that in a small little art journal. I like to have a big journal and a small journal and just kind of play around with both. And then this one, and the last one I showed you was called Tropical Fun, and then this pack of stickers is just called Floral. And I like how some of it, like the roses here, are trimmed in gold, so that's really, really pretty. But just a variety of flowers, good for spring and summer. And then the last one is called Nature, and I think I'll probably do a lot of my fall journaling with these. And so especially with your your owls and your squirrels, and I just think of fall during for these kind of images. So wanted to share those with you. Those are really beautiful, and if you can catch them on sale, it's always a good buy. So I wanted to share some of the things that I have. That's for fall as well. I'll share that in another video. I wanted to share some of the clippings that I've made, and I'm only going to start. This is the first time I have ever sold paper clippings for art journals, and I wanted to share some of the. I'm not going to share every tiny little piece. Obviously, I've got even very small little heart cutouts. So, but I'm going to share a little bit of it, and I'm just going to start with 4 or 5 packs on eBay, and they'll be very cheap, and I'll just see how they do, just for fun. It's almost like getting to create your own little. It's like you're curating. You're being a curator. you're just going on a treasure hunt, for visually pleasing images and patterns and colors, and you're just putting it all together. So these were all scraps from my current collection of things that I've had. Magazines I've saved, and stickers that I've had, and some of even my old artwork that I've chopped up and put in here. So, and some stamps. And so, yes, let's take a look at some of this. Oh, which one should I do? I'll go with this one. So they're all going to be different. There's going to be a few of the same elements in them, but like for example, this is just a little piece of a box that I saved because it sparkles, I've got some magazine cutouts, and there's a dog, and I'm not sure what kind of machine that is. And then a palm leaf. I've got a strip where I have used my heart hole punch, and just all kind of mostly magazine cuttings. This is just a random leftover matching card from a kid's matching card game. Sometimes that the children's illustration can be really inspiring and bright and happy and colorful and fun. So just a pretty pattern that I found and cut out, and I guess it's probably this side. It says wild with a flower and a bouquet. This was a pack that I bought of it's a thicker paper, so very sturdy. The pack that I bought, I don't remember where I got it years ago. It had just a variety of hummingbirds and butterflies. I threw some of that in here. This is just packaging of a little balloon dog and some a string of lights, and then I've got some notepad sheets in here. So these are fun. You can cut those and put them in your art journal. And the pattern is bugs and ladybugs and butterflies. Again, some just sparkling cardboard from some kind of packaging. Tissue boxes have a lot of really pretty patterns too, so you might consider that. Magazine cuttings. Now this is from origami paper, and sometimes that's a little bit more expensive than just buying, the scrapbooking type books like what I shared earlier, but you can find some really pretty patterns in those as well. This is just some leftover pieces that I've made that are handmade, and these are some stamps from all around the world that are really neat. Just some index cards that I have stamped, and these are some of my chopped up watercolors. So origami paper and just a little drawing. So yes, and then a stamp, and here we have a card, and of course the envelope. Some postcards I bought a long time ago. I've still got tons left over, so yeah, I've got to make room for new things, and I wanted to share with you all some of my just random leftover things laying around the house. And this way, we all can wind up with a variety of different things to put in our journals. So there's one full pack, and I'm probably going to add a little bit more before I offer it to sale, and I'm probably going to weigh this and list it that way instead of counting every piece, because there are tiny pieces in here, but it'll be approximate, and yeah, just something very inexpensive that we can share with each other. And I'll have all that on eBay. So, but yeah, I mean, if you have the time to go and look at old thrift stores, I like to do that and find old books that you want to take images from, or chop up the pages with the words. I think that's really beautiful to have an old book, either a music sheet or a page from a book, and then add some pretty creative elements on top of that. That's really fun too. So, and then a lot of these have some stickers as well. So yeah, so I encourage you to just dive in, and I've seen the effort of trying to make something perfect become crippling to people, absolutely crippling, to the point that they don't even create. They just don't, because they and sometimes time can be a hindrance, and I know it is for me. I'm very, very busy. I know a lot of us are. We have a lot going on, but if you can just make that time to, and I'm trying to help by gathering all these pieces for you all. If you can just find ways to simplify the creative process, getting your materials, and just 15 minutes here and there from me, if I sit down and I just engage creatively in some way, it's such a stress reliever. It's just, I feel accomplished. It gives you a sense of, it's almost like you have done something for yourself, and your soul, your spirit knows that on some level. So I just think it's really important to have a creative outlet, even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's with, chopped up magazine pieces or tissue boxes, or whatever it is you can find. It's not about looking perfect. It's not about impressing anybody. It's just about, it can be a meditative thing. It's just about having that creative outlet. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for following along and listening, and I hope that you were inspired. I hope you got some ideas. And if you have interest in looking at my eBay offerings, I don't have anything right now, but I'm going to be slowly posting some things over the next few weeks, and I will share that on my channel as well. So just look for that link, and thanks again. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you again very soon.